I got from it that even though you might think you have nothing, sometimes you just need a little bit of assistance or advice from somebody else to show you exactly the value of the little that you have.
Yeah. I was just about to say that. Yeah, it's your friend group.
Just because it's little doesn't mean it's not valuable. You don't need a lot to bring value.
Little is much when who is in it?
When God is in it.
Yo. We're glad to have you guys in this great space. We are your hosts.
Kevaughn.
Mandy.
Candace.
Thank you guys all for liking, subscribing, voice crack, sharing, getting the videos out there. You see me? So guys, the verse of the day is...
It's taken to you from 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12. We do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with some who condemn themselves when they measure themselves by themselves and compare themselves with themselves. They are not wise. Yeah.
Well spoken.
A lot of themselves in that verse.
Yeah, lots of
say.
themselves. Yeah. So
Judging from that verse, I'm sure you guys can tell
Yeah.
what we're gonna talk about today.
Yeah.
But before we do that, how was your week?
my week,
Mm-hmm.
my week was a good week. I take over the world as usual.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a different planet.
No, some more. Hear something more than that. I'm tired of
You want to hear something more than
I
that?
got you. I'm tired of hear that every week.
You want to hear something more than that?
Yeah, like how was the week? What did you do?
What did you
What I do? Other than I edit the Instagram reels.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, whenever you see the Instagram reels from this great space,
Yeah.
they're edited by me. You know, so I edited some Instagram reels and then went to the gym.
Did you not like
You didn't
turn a
celebrate
whole
a
year
birthday?
older, Batman?
Oh my
Oh,
god!
yeah. Oh,
Yo.
yeah. Yeah, so my birthday was Monday. So, yeah.
Monday, November 27th.
I'm 1 year old now. I'm 24 now. So, yeah, age is just a number. So, I'm wiser. Yeah, so. I'm wiser? Yeah.
Do you feel it?
No, but if somebody says something stupid to me, I'll tell them.
Okay.
Yes, I think I'm wiser. Yeah, I'm wiser. So, yeah, it was a good week. Candace?
Oh, my week was alright for the most part. Lots of things due. We're coming down to the end of the semester. So shout out to all those college kids out there holding down the fort by a thread. It's
Crunch
okay,
time.
I see you. We're all in the struggles together. But it was alright for the most part. Other than the assignments, we've made it here alive and in one piece. Mostly in one piece. Alright, so how's your week, Mandy?
It was okay.
It's okay.
It must have been okay.
It was a good week. Oh guys, we want to thank you guys for voting for us.
Oh,
For
yeah.
the creative show of the month of October.
Yeah.
For
From
PAJE.
PAJE Awards or the Page Awards. We really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to go.
Yeah, we really do appreciate
Yeah.
it.
On the voting.
Support
You guys
us.
really
It was a landslide, right?
Whoa.
I'm not sure.
Alright, it doesn't matter because it don't matter because we won. You see me?
We won.
We
That's
Exactly.
what
won
matters.
and we're truly grateful. Really appreciative.
Appreciate you guys for real.
Keep, supporting us same way. We're gonna continue doing this for you guys.
Yeah.
And just continue doing it for the greater glory of God. So thanks again for that. So my week was good. We won. I had a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was your week?
I had a very busy week. I was really busy. Brandon went to town yesterday to get some.
Oh, yeah, get some dogs.
Yeah, get some dogs. That was
a funny
that
time.
was a funny day.
That was a funny time,
It was a
Bridget.
funny day, but my week was very busy. I one thing to the next, but I always get through. With with a little bit of planning and some energy drinks. Shout out to Power. I hope I get the sponsorship soon, but yeah, I got through, and we're here for another episode.
Yeah.
Episode 13.
Episode 13.
And I just want to say that it's been a quarter of a year
Yeah.
that we have been doing
It's a quarter?
Yes, a quarter.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Three
3 months. A
months.
quarter.
Yeah, 12 weeks, 3 months.
Yeah. It's been out. We're doing this for call it 3 months now.
Yeah, we need to cut a little cupcake. Like sweet.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, we'll cut a cupcake. Celebrate 3 months.
With a one candle.
Yeah. Celebrate the consistency of us all. You guys may not know what has happened through the days and the weeks of the planning, but that's not for you guys to worry about. You just need to press play
and
subscribe,
like
and your videos
share.
get out there. Yeah, so
turn on your notification bells.
Yeah, so we're just here to have a good time with God in here, you see me?
Alright, so this
what are we talking about today?
Comparing ourselves to others.
Yeah, we're talking about comparison.
You know, preparing for this episode, a recurring theme in my study was
recording theme.
Recurring.
Oh, okay.
Repeating, happening more than once.
I heard recording. Recurring. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check.
Yeah, it was. You are enough.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Where's
You
our time
are
pictures?
enough. So.
God, Brenda.
Sometimes when we compare ourselves to others, we
That's definitely a consumer right there.
Sometimes it's out of a. It's due to man just put on lip gloss. Sometimes, anyways, yeah. Sometimes it's out.
Lips, you know?
It's out of a feeling that there is something missing. We are judging ourselves in a way that, I'm not at this level in my life. I can't do this ability. I don't have these type of giftings. I'm not where I think I should be.
Yeah.
And one thing that I realize that when we compare ourselves to others, most times we just look on the good in others. Yeah. We don't look on the bad. Like we know it's there, but we always almost focus on the good in others.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we congratulate others and praise others and say, oh, this person did this and this is so good and nice. But what if we turned around and thought about the good that we have done?
Yeah.
How far we have come, where we have been and where we are now.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yes.
Yes, so a lot of times we just need to step back and look and do a self-evaluation.
Okay.
And say, even though these are the things that I think maybe I could improve on, but look on the amount of things that God has been able to do through me.
Yes.
Look on where I have been and look on where
now.
I am now.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Because, God says you are enough.
Yeah.
And another thing is that God didn't leave out anything. God made it perfect, right? God made it how He wanted to make it. You might look on other persons and say that, oh, this person has a gifting of singing, and look how this person shape nice and whatever, and me over here just a struggle.
Yeah.
or me can sing, or
the spirit is willing, but
but here the funny thing is that what other persons have that you classify as a gift. If you had that, if God gave it to you, it would be a burden to you.
Oh yes.
Because I always say that I can't sing, but I love to sing. And
yeah, we know.
If I had the gifting of singing, boy, I don't know if I'm not the artist, right? Maybe I would have been a Rising Stars and then The Voice and, just doing something else.
Yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
So I think the gifting and talents that God has given you, the abilities, the circumstances that God has put you in, it's all in God's master plan.
Yeah, 100%.
It's all in God's master plan. And never think that you don't have enough. Never think that you don't have the ability to do something. But there's another important thing. I think God leaves out certain things. God doesn't provide you with certain things because he know that would, as I said, it would be a burden and you wouldn't have any desire for your relationship to grow with God.
True.
Right?
True.
Okay.
True.
Because
True.
if you have everything in life,
you don't need. You technically don't need God. Yeah.
and it says the rich, it's harder for the rich to
Rich man to get into heaven.
enter
Yeah.
into heaven. You know, it's like a camel going through a needle eye because they have so much stuff. So, what is it that draws you closer to God?
I remember when I was reading, I believe I believe it was the book of James that I was reading, and you know how they say you should ask the Lord for things. It was saying like you have not because you ask not. And then further down in that chapter, I think
I'm glad you
it's
said further down
4.
because Steve Harvey rings that,
I'm sorry.
Steve Harvey rings that, brother.
Further down in it says, and some of the things that you ask for, paraphrasing, of course. I was reading King James, but I can't bring out the thys and thous for you right now. It says further down that what you ask for, you don't get because of the motives that you ask of it for. So what you ask for is to fulfill your own fleshly desires. So sometimes when we look at other persons and we compare ourselves, and as you said, oftentimes when we compare ourselves, it's never to... It's almost as if we never level the playing field, honestly, when we're comparing ourselves with other persons. It's always to the effect that there's something wrong or lacking in me. So when you now go ahead to ask the Lord, like, Lord, so you do this for this person, you can do it for me too. When you ask him for things like that and you realize that you're not getting it, you have to check your motive as to why you're asking. Is it that what you're asking him for will really go to his glory, or will that thing that you're asking for become an idol for you? Because sometimes that's why you're not getting what you're asking for. Because God knows I cannot manage that. If I give that to you now, like Jermaine Edwards' song about Johnny. Johnny asked God for this and that. Okay, Brandon, never mind. Jermaine Edwards' song about Johnny, where he said Johnny used to go to church.
Jermaine Edwards.
Yes.
I didn't hear Jermaine Edwards. I heard Jermaine Edwards.
All right, Jermaine Edwards,
heard,
where Johnny asked God for this and that. Johnny asked God for a car. Him get the car, and then the song says, Johnny, where did you park? And he asks God for this and that. And all of those things that God has given to him just drew him further and further away from the Lord. So you really have to check your motives as to what you're asking him for and why you're asking him for them.
I think it's one of the things too is probably pride, because you want that thing to show off. Most times when you want something that somebody else have, your parents would call it ready eye. You see somebody have that over there and you say, Lord, look how long may I pray.
Follow flashing
and
monkey.
I ask you for one car, and look how Brandon go get him Beamer and me they want, and God is like, what are you gonna do with the Beamer? Because you don't know what Brandon do. Forget the Beamer, But you see Beamer,
I want
say,
Beamer.
Me at work, him at work, we live in the same neighborhood. We're supposed to we kind of work probably the same salary in a way. How him get all of that and I don't have all of that? You don't know what the other person is doing to get what them get. Not saying that they're doing anything bad, but at the same time, you don't know how much work our blood, sweat, and tears them put in to get to where they're at. And God probably say if you get what you are asking for, you only are gonna become probably. What did we talk about last week? Greed?
Greedy?
Yeah, greedy. And prior to that, we spoke about pride. So it could be along the lines of that as well. Your intentions. What are your intentions when you're asking God to provide you with this, because you don't know what God has saved you from.
Yeah. And another really big part of comparison that happens a lot is the
continue.
Is the comparing of sins, big and little sin.
Yeah.
That happens all the time when we talk about comparison. So I'm not that bad of a sinner because I don't go out there and kill nobody. I'm not shoot nobody, I'm not rob nobody, I'm not sleep with nobody's husband. But I'm tell me like a 1-2 white lie. Can't kill me for that. That's that comparison of who is the worst sinner of all. That happens a lot in Christianity. Unfortunately, I think it's a kind of a natural way of thinking, really. The Lord tells us that all sin are wrong and all sin are bad.
Equal.
Yes, all sin are equal in magnitude and offense to the Lord. But as human beings, we tend to rank things a little differently. A little differently.
Yeah.
Based on culture also.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
100%.
Definitely.
100%.
Because certain areas, stealing is just a regular thing. While certain areas, killing is a regular thing.
Yeah.
I'm like a rite of passage. So, yeah, it's...
Jesus.
So, I think sometimes with comparison, you were saying something?
No.
So with comparison, sometimes I remember a girl I used to talk to, she said to me one time, you focus too much on what you never did than what you have done already. And sometimes with comparison, when we compare ourselves to like other persons in terms of like what they achieve, we forget what we achieve.
Yes.
Because you look what we never got, never did.
Yeah.
So the same example with the person with the bimmer. You look at a person with the bimmer, you don't look at your life and say that you move from taking JUTC, you can call a taxi come in your yard. Just those small progressions.
Yeah.
Sometimes we minimize them in our eyes, but we see persons having these things that take more responsibility. We don't look at the responsibility yet, Yeah. But we look at those things and we say, yeah, man, I want the car, but you can call a taxi. You move from, you used to ride bicycle to work. Now you take JTC, take the course, you call a taxi to come in your yard. So I think it's a lot of times it boils down to what you're grateful for.
Yes.
And what has come into your life now.
Yeah.
And where you I think sometimes God is looking at how you maximize that area of your life. You get me? Because I remember some people say, yo, I can't go there, I don't care. Virgin taxi and bus go anyway, if you have the money. So it varies on how you can maximize what you have in front of you. Because I'm sure I would love to lift more weights, but I'm grateful for what I've gotten so far. Because you can also look at comparison as a way of making you better.
Yeah.
Because if somebody has more than you, you're like, all right, this person has more than me. Let me learn. Like I knew somebody they know how to play an instrument.
Yeah, ask them to be a mentor
or
something.
If they don't want to mentor you, go on YouTube, look it up, do your research, see how you can put yourself in that space. But don't look at it it's easy to look at it from a negative part because that's the easiest one to pick.
Yeah.
But turning it into a positive and understanding that maybe I can be there with them, not like them.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
I can be in that same space with them and not like them. So yeah, it's easy to look at it from a negative, but the positive, I think, is probably the hardest part.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
You have to put in the work.
What Kev said before was mainly how, because I'm sure we find ourselves comparing ourselves to other people or other situations, and I think what he pointed out first is really probably the most brain dead, the most common way where we compare ourselves. Yeah, because I feel like that's how I do mine a lot of times. You see other persons, especially people that are around your age group.
Oh, yeah.
And you're saying, wow, oh my God, how have they achieved so much? Like, we went to school the same time. We graduate the same time.
Walk down the same aisle.
Yeah, like, what?
How them get jobs.
How are they getting jobs? And I am not. How are they able to move to this to their own homes? How are they able to not necessarily start family, cause but how are they able to how are they able to like already buy a car at such a young age
and fly out and do something and go on vacation,
stuff like that, stuff that you wished you would have been able to do. And sometimes it makes you question, would you have envisioned your life this way if not for that person in your influence, your vision?
Yeah, in your dreams.
You know, teasing you with what they have.
I go.
So you kind of want to draw back and say, okay,
Mandy's cooking.
Without this person's influence or presence in your life.
That's like, ooh, jeez.
Yes. Envision your life the way that you want, because a lot of times comparison is not so much something that we do on our own. We can have outside influences like parents.
100%.
Because your parents can portray for you the type of life that they envision you to have. And so you are adamant that, okay, at 23, I must do this. At 24, I must do this. At 25, I must do this. And by this age, all of this must happen already. Yeah. But at that point in time, that's their vision for you. Where is your vision for yourself, and where is God in all of this?
Yeah, I was just about to say, sometimes when we make our plans now, and I say we compare ourselves to other persons, you know, you always leave the question, what does God want for you? It was just last night I was talking to my friend. You know, what is God's purpose and what's God's calling on my life? Because I think once you come to an understanding that all of your life revolves around God, it's like, why am I even comparing myself to others when I need to be going to God and say, God, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? What are you
focused on?
Yeah. Because God, He is going to take you to places, whatever He wants you to. He's going to get you to do it, you know. He's going to get you to do it. You don't need to rush anything. You don't need to think that, boy, you know, say that person here, I'll go out and maybe I fly out every week. Maybe him is a pastor now, and you know him life. All right, him have children and them something. And
look like it's sort out.
Maybe God not call you for go and pastor. Maybe God will call you for be something else. You know. I also have another story. It's about David and Goliath. Everybody knows the story, right? David and Goliath. Yeah. And we know about David.
Your cousin?
Yeah, my cousin. And he and his brothers were the more
built. I think they were the bigger
built ones.
The
more athletic ones and so forth. And they was just like a boy.
Compared to them, you know.
Yeah, compared to them.
I don't think not to cut you, but I don't think we understand how big David was. But compared to his brothers, they said he was small.
Yeah.
So we don't know what David
maybe his
really
brothers were
like.
just swole.
Yeah, because David was fighting off lions and bears, you know.
Yeah.
So
he was a young man. He wasn't necessarily a kid.
Yeah, and David could have easily said to himself, boy, even my brother them can defeat this giant. What me supposed to do? God, are you crazy? But through obedience, God was able to bring him through and conquer the giants in his life. So through obedience, you'll be able to defeat all the giants, literally and physically. And there was also another story I was looking at.
Wait. Literally and figuratively.
Literally and figuratively.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's the English student in me.
This story is one with the widow and Elisha. Elisha.
Okay.
So the widow had some debts to payback, and she didn't have nothing in her house. So what she did was decide to go to Elisha and say to Elisha, you know, I don't have anything in my house and I have this to pay back and please help me or whatever. And instead of Elisha bringing something to her house or giving her something, he said, what is in your first he asked, what do you have? Right? He didn't give her something new. He didn't move her out of where she was. Because remember, she was where she needed to be. And that's what a lot of us don't understand now. We need to be. God knows where we need to be, and we're exactly where we're supposed to be. So Elisha asked, what is in your house? And she said she has a little container with some oil. And Elisha said, go home and get as much vessels, as much containers, as empty containers as you can, and put them in your house. And when you go back, you're going to pour from that container with oil into all of those vessels. And those stop until you fill up all of those containers. And out of obedience, just like David, she went back to her house and poured and poured and poured and filled all of those vessels. And she was able to repay her debt and live happily ever after.
So your message in this was
sometimes it's the people around you.
There's like, I think I get like two things.
I got two things.
One, of course, as we said before, to be grateful for what you have, and two, this might be way off, but there's always someone who has less than you. Because I'm thinking of how many other persons in the Bible that did not have it as much. Like, think of the woman who had, what was it?
The mite?
She went to give her
last offering.
Yeah, the mite.
And she could have seen somebody else again more, and I said, God,
it's not worth much.
Yeah, you know, I wish me did have that, or look on Sister Candace, look how much money she had throw for her friend, or something like that, and you wish you could have that much. But she just decided to be, you know, in the moment, present with what she had, and give it, because God will bless it. Either way. So I feel like it's just being grateful and staying in the moment and being present with what's in front of you, because it can get taken away if you're not in a mind.
I got something else from it also, because she went to Elijah and Elijah was able to bring, I guess, out of the little that she had to be something even more and to multiply it. I got from it that even though you might think you have nothing, sometimes you just need a little bit of assistance or advice from somebody else to show you exactly the value of the little that you have.
I was just about to say that. Your friend group.
Just
like
because it's little doesn't mean it's not valuable. You don't need a lot to bring value.
Little is much when who is in it?
When God is in it.
Let me show you another story too, because to them they're on a roll in the people.
So
there's a story I was listening to. Meanwhile I was driving today, and so there was this. So there's a father and a son. This little boy. The father is a pastor for a big church. So the little boy one day said to the pastor, "Daddy, can I get a key to the office? Can I get a key to the office?" And the father said, "No problem." And he gave him a key. And the son was like, "Is this just the key for the office? Am I able to get the key for the entire church also, so I could open all the doors, go into the hall, go into the little rooms and so on?" And the father said, "You know, what you have is sufficient. You know, be happy for what you get," and so on. And one day the father got sick. And I think he was staying at the church. And what would happen is that when the boy would come to the church now, he would have to ask somebody to open up the church for him so he could go into the church and pray with his father. So one evening the boy came and he wanted to go inside to pray with his father because his father's sick and so on. So the person who was supposed to be there wasn't there with him. And remember, he only has the key to open up the office for the church. And he was like, oh man, what am I going to do now?
Oh man.
What am I going to do now? And he started looking around the church, seeing if there's any way he could go. And when he was just about to give up and go home, he said, you know what? Let me go back to the main door. And he used the same key that his father gave him a long time ago and pushed it into the main door. And the key opened the door. And then he went into the hall and the key opened the next door.
Oh
and he went into the next room and the key opened. The little boy didn't know all this time that his father gave him the master key.
You know what I just got from that story? You know what I just got from that story? Sometimes that's how we can say you don't know the value that you have. Sometimes you don't know what you have.
That's a good story.
Sometimes you don't know what you have until you test it. And I think with the comparison, you don't know. He didn't know what the key was. He thought he only had the key for one place.
He didn't know the value of it.
He didn't know until I think you have to test. You have to test what you believe that you have. If you have a skill, you really can do something. You think it's small. Go out there and test it with other people.
Yeah, man. By faith.
Yeah.
Ooh.
By faith.
Yes.
Faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
But without faith, it's impossible to please God. And that's simply it.
Yeah. There's another analogy in it too. Because that key could be like God. Because many times when we're trying to tell people, try God, because if he's worked for us, he's definitely going to work for you. And that key could be him. When him finally try it before giving up, that key could be you trying God for the first time, and then you just open a world,
all the doors,
where everything is just being done for you. And people are trying to live from a long time, and you finally seen the light. You finally seen the light, and it's like, dang, this was what was going on all along.
I remember you finished?
Yeah, man.
I remember one story. I remember last night, I think God put this in my brain. The children of Israel, when they were in Egypt, and when they were in Egypt, when they were slaves. They're working for Pharaoh and they're having a rough time. And God said, "Yo, to Moses, take my people out to Egypt, bring it to the promised land, bring it somewhere." And I remember thinking about it. That was Moses' job. That was his purpose. Bring these people to Egypt.
Out of Egypt.
Out of Egypt, sorry. And the interesting part was that they were in the wilderness and they started comparing their lives. That they say it was better off they were slaves because they had food and this.
Yeah.
And comparing their situation now where they don't have everything that they had they thought they had before. And it made me think that sometimes we can get into a deep state where we're comparing ourselves of what we used to do when we never took God serious and what we do now when we take God serious. And sometimes we're thinking, raw. Back then everything was working out for me. Now I know this is changing. And you're comparing both your lives. You're thinking that nothing's working out. Just like children of Israel, I thought nothing was working out. But I think what some of them missed was the purpose behind them leaving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Understand that this is where you are now, and you need to move forward from here. And I think that's where they messed up, because they didn't see the vision that Moses saw, that Joshua and those people they didn't see the vision. I think sometimes when you're comparing yourself, like what Mandy was saying, what influences you when you're comparing yourself? Are you sure this is what you want because somebody else has it?
Yeah, that's so true.
Because I always ask myself, why do I want to do this? Is it because I see another man on Instagram have it that I want it?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times you're comparing yourself, you're seeing things that you never had, but are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah.
Because if God gave you all those things, you just be left empty.
Yes,
you have
that
the car,
is so
you have
true.
the girl, you have everything just left empty. And I think with the children of Israel, they didn't have we don't know, I don't know if they were told, Moses told them, yo, we're going to our promise and that God promised. And they're like, yeah. You see me, like 300, you know? They're like, yeah, yeah. Okay. Milk and honey, and 2 weeks later, them say, brother, I bet I'm stay a slave. And I think it's the vision, just like with the analogy. You see, don't want to be more, and you have pay for take taxi, but you have a vision. You have somewhere to go. You have places to be, you have people to see. So you're not watching no face. Pastor Gray used to say, we used to have one pants.
Yeah, the one green pants.
The one green pants.
The one green corduroy pants.
Yeah, one green pants and a whole year there. And sew it up with that darker green color. And him still, and Pastor Gray still a press for the word of God. So it's I think sometimes when comparing, probably it's a lack of vision. You have nowhere to go. So you look to, as what did Solomon say? Vanity striving after the wind.
Yeah, all is vanity and chasing after the wind.
Yeah.
And vexation of spirit, mighty.
So yeah, guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Be grateful.
Be grateful.
And content and learn to live in the moment with what you have. Yeah. Pray over it and thank God for blessing it because where you are is where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Everybody's timeline is different. No watch no face. You will get to your
destination.
Mountaintop when it's your time.
As we end, I'm going to ask my two songbirds to sing this song. And if anybody wants to come up to the altar, praise and worship team, please lead a song. Little is much.
I don't think they even know the words of that song. I don't even know the words of that song.
So as we
let's not.
Guys,
thank you guys
Thanks for watching
to this episode.
As you got Grace what?
To this episode.
Oh, I said this Grace Wood. I was like, which Grace?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you guys.
That's
Thank you guys for watching this episode. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're so grateful that you continue to watch us week after week after week.
God is in it.
All right, continue.
Yeah,
thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, and watching. Follow all our socials at This Grace Space on Twitter
and Instagram
and TikTok. And leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about comparison?
Yeah.
DM us as well what you guys think. You don't want the comments to see. So guys, Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. Get to know him today. And if you don't know him, you're moving mad, fam. Moving mad, bro. So guys, thank you for watching This Grace Space.
This Grace Space.